All right, gang, here we are. We're with Todd Manter and Kevin from Libertas Rods, Michael Folks from Inside Sportfishing. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch Inside Sportfishing El Nino Part 2 of a 3-part series that Michael filmed back in 1991-92 with the great Todd Manter. And he's going to be our guest tonight while he's driving home from fishing all day or driving around taking care of boats or whatever the hell Todd was doing. Right? Right. Well, here we go, guys. Here we go. We're going to watch this right now. What do you think, Michael?
Oh, I'm all in. I can't.
We just can't see you.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Black squares matter.
Yeah.
Welcome to Inside Sport Fishing. I'm Michael Folks, and thanks for joining us as we continue our El Nino coverage from Dana Wharf Sport Fishing on board Tom Manter's Some Fun. On the troll.
Tip up. I don't know. Wind.
All the way. Come on down. Come on. Keep going. Oh yeah. I think I'm.
Sir, you have color?
I think I got one going. Wind.
Let him down, guys. Let's go.
Come back, fish.
Wind, sir. You gotta wind.
Wind them.
We gotta get in the boat.
Gotta turn the handle.
Oh, fresh one! Man, I lost this one.
Okay, perfect. That's it. There we go. That's it. Okay. Hold the rock to the 5. Okay. Bring that back to me. Step back. I want you to step back this way, okay? Step back this way. Okay, step back this way. He's bit right now. He's right in the middle of the tangle bit. Okay, walk back to me. We're going to have to cut you here.
We got 3. Ah, Jesus. Sea lion's going to get one.
Walk this way.
You guys got to get these fish in quick. That dog's going to eat them here.
I got mackerel right there. Throw that to the dog.
Mackie at him.
I got 3 of them up there. Okay, now I want you to walk this way now. Side step this way and reel. Okay, sir, you're going to have to come underneath here.
Dog will eat them quicker. And come off.
Lift this rod up, right up in the air. There we go, just like that. Now, come this way. There we are. Okay, all clear. Okay, now, sir, I want you to come underneath him, go to the top of him. Now, just follow right around here. Just walk up to the rail. You don't have to do that. Walk up. Okay, that'll work.
I think we lost one to the dog here. He lost that one.
Okay, now step up to the rail. Hold that rod tip up high. Yeah, you got it down back. Just got that thing in soon. Okay, where's the other gentleman at?
Lost one to the dog.
Big dog, too.
What you got?
Yeah.
Not much left.
Big dog. Where's that other mackerel?
I saw him eat it.
He's out there. Another one here. Big dog.
Is that 40-pound test?
Take your thumb off the spool. Take your thumb off the spool. Okay. Now I want you to lift up on him. Lift up, okay.
He's going to get tighten that drag up a little bit. Get the single floating.
Let's test your drag. Just hold it right there.
Pretty loose.
Put some pressure on it.
Just to here. Just to here. Okay. All right. Now we're going to have to fight it with your drag. Fight your drag on it. It's up for you. Jump on it. Now reel down.
Just short bumping him, Chris.
Yeah. Trying to turn his head, get him coming up. Okay, hold the rod tip down there. I want you to take a step over. Just take a step over to the wheel. Now lift up. Lift up on him. Okay, now okay. Dog got it.
Oh my God, it was a big one too.
Yeah. What is he yelling?
Oh, dirty rusty line. Oh.
That was a nice one.
Well, that dog just ruined this whole stop.
He's full by the time you got to that one.
He's maxed out. He's got 1,000 pounds.
Here, I got
Number 12. There you go.
Todd, what happened here?
Well, we kind of resorted to come here and fish some calico bass because the fish kind of went down on the outside. We were fishing the yellowtail and things just kind of sank out on us. They put their noses down and scattered, so calico bass is a resort.
That'll work.
12 you go, 12. Looks a little short, but we can check it out.
So these fires come in. Don't allow it.
And he doesn't go. A little short. Back. 12 inches?
That's a little bass.
Yeah.
Measure him out.
This guy's going to be borderline.
And he goes. 14, sir? All right.
Snapping, man.
I'm legal, though. He's legal. Number 5?
5.
There's another one. There's another one. Here you go, sir. Nice live bait, Jay. Calico bass are biting.
Grumpy one, there you go.
Looks a little short. We'll let him go back.
Second one, yeah.
There we go. He's pretty darn close. Let's check him out here. He's got a long and skinny 12 and an 1/8 inch tail. Number? 11. 11? Very good. There's a yellowtail in there too.
Line line or split shot? What do you recommend?
You know what? We got a little bit of current here, so you could probably put on a split shot or maybe a 8-ounce slide sinker. Yeah, look at this one here, Mike. There we go. That's the right stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
We're starting to see a little more quality here now. Whoop! And there comes the hook. We'll have to get your hook out. There you go.
23 he is.
23.
20?
Yeah. 23.
23. Nice fish right here.
On the plastic?
On the plastic. Fish and trout. Smell color.
Yeah, that's a nice fish.
Nice fish. Nice one. All right. Thank you. And we're gonna let a nice fish like this go right now. Let him take off. There he goes.
Yeah, one of the big babies.
Local fishing off the Southern California coast simply doesn't get any better than it's been this season. A season that is destined to go into the record books and will forever be remembered as the endless summer. With El Niño's warm water, abundance of bait, and endless schools of pelagics cruising within miles of the beach, the fishing was almost automatic. And when we come back, we'll be joining veteran operator Todd Manser on board the Some Fun as we bait up and then head out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing on a 3/4 day trip in search of some local yellowtail. No other fishery in the world utilizes live bait the way our Southern California sport fishing fleet does. And there are no harder working, more dedicated men in the fishing business than our bait haulers. Working endless hours out there alone throughout the night, these are the men that each and every day bring home the bacon, a fact that many of us take for granted. We just assume that when we climb on board our favorite sport boat that the bait will be waiting for us. From sardines and anchovies to live squid, without the tireless efforts of these silent heroes, we'd be out of luck. From Morro Bay to San Diego, each and every one of us owes our local bait haulers a huge amount of gratitude. So next time you're at the receiver, take a minute and give a little extra thanks to these guys, because without live bait, we wouldn't be able to experience the quality and consistency of fishing that we've come to expect when riding on board a boat in Southern California.
Welcome aboard the Some Fun. My name is Todd, your captain. We need to start going over a few things here to ensure your safety before we get outside the harbor. First, we'd like to inform everybody where all the life saving equipment is located. We have child and adult life jackets located inside the gray and white boxes, 4 to the bait tank, down the main deck.
What we're going to be doing here today is basically we're looking for yellowtail. It's all been eyeball fishing. It's been a big area of fish here. We've got fish anywhere from off San Clemente Pier all the way down in Oceanside down into Del Mar. Quite a spread of fish. Most of this fish has been all eyeball fish. It's all been breezers, breaking fish, stopping on bird schools. We were very successful yesterday. We've been chipping away at nice fish counts here on these things. It's not talent fishing. Just about anybody can get out here and do this type of fishing. In fact, some of these fish have even been caught on sinkers. With a light load, it's pretty fun. Right now what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of swing outside here because there's some fish even moving further up the line. In fact, there's a couple of boats reported some breezers up off Abalone Point, Laguna, Crystal Cove, Corona Del Mar, in that area, Laguna Beach. So we kind of want to swing outside here so as not to miss anything. There have been a few fish on the kelp patties, but we haven't really been targeting them. The reason why is everything's been on the inside. We're fishing anywhere from 60 feet of water out to about 120 feet, if you can believe that. Everything's in real tight here. And so all the kelp patties that we see have pretty much been hit by the smaller boats that have the capability of traveling much faster than we do. They're all sticking with us, and if you scan around here, you'll see a lot of private boats, skiffs, yachts, etc. So it's real tough to get up on a kelp patty that's, say, 4 or 5 miles down the line from us when all these skiffs have kind of gone down the line and tried them. There are some fish under them. I'd say it's about 1 out of every 50 that's holding. So basically what we're going to do is get down here and look for this eyeball fish. We kind of want to start looking here early. The little whitebirds, little terns have been on it real good. They're all eating cleary bait. So right now they're a little lethargic. They've been eating a food that's real easy to catch. So they're not that aggressive, which is why our counts haven't been any higher than what they've been. A good day out here has been anywhere from 25 to 60, 80 fish, which is pretty good for a 3/4 day or an all-day boat here. There have been some bigger counts down south, so we're hoping that maybe this new wave that's kind of pushing up through here is going to provide us with maybe some more fish that are a little hungrier. Chances are they might get in this area and find this cleary bait and this mackerel and start feeding on it and become a little lethargic again. But sooner or later these fish are going to go on the snap and it's going to be an excellent bite. We can almost count on it. So anyways, we want to kind of start looking here and hope for an excellent day.
Really? The bait looked good this morning too, didn't it?
We had nice bait. We had a little mix of sardine anchovy, and we also had some Spanish mackerel and some small greenback mackerel in it to kind of mix it up a little bit. So it should be interesting. These fish have been eating the anchovies better than the sardines, believe it or not. I don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that they're kind of lethargic and the sardines have a tendency to kind of stay up a little higher when you're fly lining, and the anchovies will kind of sink out a little bit. I don't know what it is. You know, we've butt hooked sardines and got them swimming down. We've tried everything, but it seems that we're getting bit better on the anchovies and the small mackerel. It might just be because of what they've been eating here recently. Feeding on this cleary bait and the mackerel, maybe the anchovies are just a little more appetizing or easier to catch, as these fish, as I said, are a little lethargic.
Todd, what do you think? 12 or 15 pound test?
Yeah, we've had fish caught on 40, but if you only want to catch one, that's about it. They're not that aggressive, and they're not eating the heavy very well. The guys that are fishing 30 and 40 pound, you know, maybe have a chance at 1 or 2 fish, but the guys that are fishing 12 and 15, I had guys yesterday that hooked 5, 6, 7 fish, and on a 3/4 day or a half day boat, that's pretty damn good fishing yellowtail.
Your fly line 1/0?
Yeah, we've been using a little smaller hook. As I said, these fish are still a little twitchy, you know, they're not that eager to go on the chew. We've had to work really hard to get bit, so we've been going down to like a number 2 or a number 1. The largest hooks we've been using have been a 1/0. They've been getting bit the best, and the fish have been staying on. Fish have been ranging anywhere from 4 to 8 on the smaller fish, which is a small yellowtail. I'd say the average fish has been about 12 pounds, and we've seen fish up to 20. So it's been pretty interesting. Yeah, it's a nice mix of fish. Let's go get them.
Those are all yellows, Todd?
Great yellowtail, guys.
Look at that puddling school.
Solid yellows.
Coming up with it. Okay. Yeah,
Right here, guys. Popped up right here. Here to be out. Let them go. Let them go.
Solid yellows.
coming up with it. Yeah, it doesn't have any rods. Okay, guys, what I want you to do here, I want you to step back, and you guys, I want you to walk around here and follow your line so don't tangle up this fish. Okay, step back here, sir. Okay, follow him around now. Follow him around. Yeah, take your thumb. Don't press down on that line. You just lost one that way. Okay, guys, keep walking around. Keep walking around. Keep moving. Okay, gang, we gotta follow our lines this way, please. All right, here. Come back around. Come back around. We got a traffic jam here, guys.
Under you, please. Under you.
Step back and let him in. Step backwards and let him in. There we go. Follow that fish straight down. Fresh one right here. Another hook off. Set that hook back. There we go. Don't point the rod at him. Another one. We got 4 hanging. Get out here, Todd. Okay, walk this way. Walk that way. Follow that fish. I want you to step back. I want you to step back. Here, step back. There we go. That's it.
3, 4 hanging here, guys.
Come over here. Walk. Follow me. See what this guy's doing?
Come walking. Walk over here.
Hey, Chris. He's
What
great.
happened?
We got 4 hanging here.
Comes up. Come up over top. Walk over here. Walk over here. Come
Hang a
underneath.
fresh one here, guys.
Come
Get a new
underneath.
bait on it. Oh, look at the fish roll right here.
Walk. Keep
Oh,
walk.
right
Walk.
on the
Walk.
corner.
Come under.
I got something.
There's a fresh one at it, girl. Yeah, did you come off the drag, ma'am? Let him run. Get into the corner. Atta girl.
Keep your line straight in front of you. Okay, I want you guys to cross here.
Oh, I told you.
Hey, Chucky, you hit one already. I want you to come over, sidestep over top of him. See how your lines are crossed there? There we go. Duck down, you come over to the top. Look at all these yellows right behind us here, guys. That's it. Perfect. There we go. Let him run a little bit if he wants to. Don't reel while he's running down there. Okay, now turn his head and pull back.
Come down and around.
Okay, guys, see how your lines are getting together here? You're gonna have to take a couple steps this way. All right? Sure, you're gonna have to walk down that way just a little bit. You want to keep that fish. Okay.
Belly just kind of in the water, bro. Too many lines on. I can't even spin it up.
Here you go. Okay, step back and let him on through. Work your way right to the corner. Work your way right to the corner. Guys, step back and let him on in there, please. There we go. Okay, wait. Okay, you. 18. Yeah. Okay, I want you to lift up. Now, reel, go down. That's it, just like that. Okay, lift up. Now, reel and go down. Go down a little bit slower. Okay, now the fish is going back this way, so you got to move back this way again. Guys, hot rail here, let him on down. Okay, sir. I want you to come over the top of him now. There you go. Come over the top of him and underneath the lady right next to you. Over top, you're doing fine. That's it. Just like that. There you go. Okay, now walk over this way. Got color. Okay, no, wait. Here. Move around this way, sir. Here, follow me around like that. There you go. There you go. Follow. Come around this way. Got come around this thing. Hand me down. Yellowtail. Okay, got a big one. Okay, come out. Yellowtail on.
I spit the hook
Spit
right
the hook.
there.
Almost, yeah.
Just spit the hook right there.
All right, so what an action-packed episode. Captain Dave just got a hold of me and said he had to step away from the computer for a second, but he'll be right back to turn our faces on. So I guess real quick, I'll start with either Michael or Captain Todd in there. How do you stay organized or calm or even know what the heck is going on when you have everybody jumping over the top of each other like that?
Todd,
Oh, did we lose him maybe?
I think we might have lost him.
Gotcha. Well, that's how you know this is live, folks. We things happen. So for, I guess on your end then, Michael, when you've got really so much going on the boat like that, how do you know where to point the camera when?
It's you follow the action. I'd say the key is just to follow the action. Obviously, while we're baiting up, leaving the harbor, you're doing the bait receiver, and then once we get up on our way, jump up in the wheelhouse and try to get a little soundbite with the captain. See what his game plan is for the day. A lot of guys don't like us up there with the cameras because they're really having to focus and do their job. And that initial run out to find the fish is always the most challenging. So, we try to stay out of the captain's way. Just try to enhance that experience for them rather than intimidate it. But Todd's phenomenal. He knows his stuff so well inside and out that he doesn't even have to think twice about it. So working with Todd and Dave in the early days was such a joy because they really were just they were so dialed in. They fished every day, in and out, day in and day out. They just knew what was going on out in the water, so they really weren't too intimidated by having the cameras there. But they were a little nervous until we got bit. Once we get bit, then they start relaxing.
Yeah. Once you get that first fish, and it's kind of that what would you call it? Confirmation that, yep, I'm doing the right thing. We're getting people where they need to be, and that kind of relaxes the pressure a little bit. I know I definitely go through that on my end, especially when I'm in a new body of water, whether it be a lake, stream, river on my end. It's like, okay, it's been an hour. Where are the bites? And then you get that first one, and it's like, okay, now I can breathe. The skunk is gone,
Right?
And we can get underway here.
It's exactly. And I don't think people really realize how much pressure these guys are under. They got, I'd say on an average half-day trip during the summer, they got 60 to 75 people on the boat every 6 hours wanting to catch a fish. So, the responsibility of producing catching is pretty phenomenal. And the fact that these guys are able to do it day in and day out consistently without feeling or showing that they're under pressure is a pretty amazing trait. And I think,
well, and to that point too, it's like you've got anywhere, like you say, 40 to 60 people that are wanting, and not only wanting, but expecting to catch multiple fish.
Yep.
And sometimes hoping to get their personal best. So that's a lot of weight to carry for these captains.
There's a lot of pressure there, and they're good hard-earned money to be out there and And, the crews and the captains, they always do the best job that they possibly can to put people on fish. But, it's fishing. And they can control all the things that they can control and make sure the boat's clean, the heads are clean, the food's good, the bait's good, and the rigs are, all the gear's ready. And, they do everything they can to put guys on fish. But you think about it, you got, let's say, 50 guys on average during the summer, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day when they're doing twilights. And every one of those guys has paid good money and wants to catch a fish.
Yeah.
So,
well, and, I think, I don't know if he'll hear us right now, but I mean, at the beginning of that episode, when you were talking with Todd, and he was just this wealth of information of where he's looking, what he's looking for, what they're using. I think when I'm guiding on a river, like, okay, I got maybe on a long day, 7 miles of river I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
You guys are trying to figure out huge amounts of ocean water. And that's not easy.
No.
And like when I asked last week, you're essentially sight fishing, like with this kind of stuff. What are you even looking for out in this big open expanse, So,
well, Todd's back. So if you can jump on there, Todd, we were talking about a little bit about what it takes up there in the wheelhouse to find these fish in that open ocean.
So going back then, it was a lot of understanding how our water was moving around, first of all, from the day we left them to the next day when we find them. We didn't have the technology we have now with gyro binoculars. We didn't have a bunch of different networks and websites to look at. We had to look at the water. We had to look at water temperature. We didn't have satellite sea surface temperatures and all the neat stuff that we have today. We read water with our eyes, and we understood very clearly how water was moving. And then once we realized that we were in the correct water, a lot of it was, sitting in the Zeiss 750s, looking for that dipping bird or, a breezer.
The Zeiss 750, those are binoculars for anybody that doesn't know. Todd lost service again. Can't hear you, Todd. Cannot hear you. Can't hear you. But it's like I say every day on my podcast. Todd? Nope, can't hear him. Like I say all the time, Kevin and Michael, you got to pay attention when you're out there. We have so many people that are having the fish of their life right now because of this El Nino. And
Yep.
Todd, talk about what just happened the other day when you were running the boat. You caught a bunch of marlin, right? Nope, can't hear you at all. Cannot hear you at all, Todd. Not even a tiny bit. So Todd was out there 2 days ago, Michael, and I think he went 2 for 5 on the marlin.
Jeez.
And then he had the day before that he went 1-7 or something. He said that right now is the best marlin fishing they've seen in a very, very long time, right here in front of Dana Point, between Dana Point and Catalina. So,
Jeez.
You
You went 7 for 7 yesterday?
No, 2 for 5 and 1 for 7, Todd. Nope, we can't hear you, buddy. We keep
2 for
trying.
7.
We keep trying, but we can't hear you at all. Not even a little bit. Get all the way out and get back in again. What I'm going to do while Todd keeps driving along, Michael, is I have part 3 here, and we got so much time right now. We might as well play part 3, right?
Yeah. Finish it off. Load it up.
All right, let's do it. Sorry, Todd. We'll get you when you get back on here again.
I think we're jumping over the Clementi, too. I'm not sure.
Did you see his sign that he just showed? He said bad service area.
Yeah, that's cool.
coming up on this cleary bait right here. There's a lot of bait in this area here. The fish are just kind of popping up everywhere around us right now.
And that's solid yellow.
Solid yellowtail right here. Everything you see in the camera right here is all yellowtail. We got yellowtail breaking over here off our port quarter here. It's holding big time. We could just hang a few more here.
And listen, guys, if you want any of us to stop, just leave a message on the side of the screen here, and we'll stop and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We got about 20 minutes of this again. These are beautiful old films of El Nino 1992.
Trying to get one on the iron, but they just won't touch it. These fish are kind of lethargic, and they just won't eat the iron here. A couple of guys have been getting bit on it. Most of the stuff's been, letting the iron sink down deep and kind of either yo-yoing it or fast retrieve from about 100 feet. Or getting up on the lead fish on the slide and a real fast retrieve on the Chatty 45s has been real good.
We're just sliding up on it too, right?
Yeah, we're just sliding on them real soft. These fish are real lethargic. They're kind of just full-bellied, eating that 2 eyeballs and a wiggle. And hopefully we can get a few more here. It looks like we finally hung another one here. Is that a fresh one, Chris? We got another one hanging here.
You have another person you want to give it to? All right. Okay, here you go. Here, reel in a yellowtail. She's having trouble here. All right. Okay. Here you go. Pump up, reel down, real slow. You've been cranking us real slow. No.
Now, I want you to, excuse me a second here, ma'am. Okay, sir, I want you to come over the top of this gentleman here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Crank down now. Stop.
Side
Stop
step
reeling.
over this way.
Go.
There you go.
Here you go. Okay.
There we are, just like that.
Walk over here.
Okay, now you hear that noise in your reel? That means your line's just spinning, right? You don't want that to happen because it's going to be like a rubber band. It's going to get all twisted up and it's going to weaken the line and it'll pop.
Nice and
So
easy.
what you do is when you start reeling, go down, keep walking this way, keep walking and reel at the same time. There we go. That's it.
Stand back.
Stand back.
Keep walking to your left. When you cast off the corner, you got to walk to your left.
Good workout today, huh?
Under these guys that are fishing.
Is that the bait that you put on? Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Lift up, now reel down. So you don't want to hear that noise right there. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Okay, now go down slow and real fast.
Did you believe it? Broke the hook right off.
You busted the hook.
That's right off.
Broke the hook. Snap the hook. Follow him around. These are strong fish. Okay, these lines are getting too close together now.
We got color.
Hey, gap on the bow, boys. Got one up here on the bow hanging.
Drop the tip of your rod a little more when you're reeling down. That's it. Not that far. Okay, now lift up on it. Lift up on it. There we go. Okay, stop. Now start reeling and go down. That's it.
Oh, you got a beauty there. Why he broke the hook right off?
What was your number?
13.
13.
Wait, don't pull, don't pull, don't pull. Don't pull that line. Walking over so you shade all of it. Oh, that reel's just
Drop the rod tip down and reel. Okay, lift up on it. Okay, let him run. He's almost dead.
Boy, he sees the bottom of the boat and he just takes off, doesn't he?
Yeah. Okay.
check out that yellow.
Yeah, 13.
Drop the rod. Stop. Lift up. Drop the rod and reel. Lift it out there. Okay, lift up. Stop reeling. Stop reeling. You get a lift on. Get a lift. Come around. Okay, pull the rod tip out. You don't want that line scratching the bottom of the boat. Here we go. Okay. Lift up on it. Get the
All right. Hallelujah.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
There you go.
Nice fish.
Tie that.
That's a nice yellow, isn't it?
Nice job.
Nice job.
Good job, Lou.
How we doing on these? We got 5 hanging. We got one hanging on the bow. Got a fresh one up on the bow there? All right. Any color on these guys?
This one's 100 miles out.
There's one one coming up.
All right. Bring him up a little bit, Chuck. There we go. Woo! Yeah. In the world, man, you got him on the boat.
Hey, somebody hang a fresh when you're done.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, don't tighten him. Let him run. They'll wear out, guys.
Right behind you there in the car. I know it over here. Mike.
We got color right here.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we had one there. Shit.
A little higher.
Yeah.
We're biting.
There's the camera over there. Woo.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Woo-hoo. Another nice one.
Thank
Good job, Red. Good job.
Say, Todd.
Number 23. Number 23? Why don't you give us a smile here? Another fine yellowtail hits the steel.
Nice fish.
Yeah.
Good one.
On the chovies, huh?
Yeah. Pound for pound, they're quite powerful. Chuck will attest to that, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, one more turn. Keep him out, away from the boat. Keep him away from the boat.
Ah, another one bites it up.
Okay, Todd, can you hear us now? Todd? Todd? Todd, do you hear us? Todd?
I can hear you.
Todd? I want everybody to understand something was just said that matters a lot. And a lot of people are complaining about the bait right now because it's all anchovies. But Michael, think
Yes,
about this. These yellowtail were biting. You were on the boat. What did they have for bait?
Jovies.
Anchovies, guys. So that's no excuse. I can't catch anything because they only have anchovies. That's all we had until the middle of the 90s. That's it. We only had anchovies for bait. I just wanted to stop this for a minute and talk about that. Todd, are you there? Nah, he's still got bad service.
Yeah, the anchovies were what we grew up on. We had to learn. We learned how to fish on light line with anchovies because you didn't have that heavy sardine to throw at it. But you're using anchovies to chum all those fish to the boat, and even though they're eating the iron, they're inhaling all that chum as well. So you can learn how to. Like Randy was teaching us the other day on how to toss a light bait underhanded with a whip cast, or you basically strip the line off the reel with your left hand as you pitch it out underneath hand. You can get that bait out there 15, 20 feet, even though it weighs probably what does an anchovy weigh? Less than an ounce?
Right. It doesn't weigh an ounce.
Yeah, it's less. Yeah, so you're basically pitching a half ounce lead head or something without the lid.
Right, Todd?
Yes.
Hey, welcome back.
That's the longest stretch in no service. It's 2026, and it's amazing that I can drive on a freeway in a self-driving car and not have cell phone service.
So what I was just talking about, Todd, was you, and I know you're hearing it too, especially down at Dan, all these people crying because they only have anchovies at the bait barge right now.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's all you had for bait this day, right?
Yeah, that's all we had for bait that day. And, it's pretty common when we start to see, warmer conditions. So if you look at an anchovy's anatomy, you look at an anchovy and, period, giant eyeball for the size of the fish, big gill plates for gilling, micronutrients. This fish can go deep in the water column and get away from the surface warm temperatures, but still get pushed to the surface for upwelling. It makes it possible for us to still catch a little bit of bait when bait starts to get tough in warm ocean heat waves and El Niños. So it's pretty common for us to see anchovy cycles even with warm water, even though they're more of a cold water species, and they catch fish just as good as a sardine. You just got to learn how to cast. And look at the tackle these guys are fishing with. I mean, it's unbelievable. You still see senators on the rail.
Oh yeah, fly. Yeah.
Right. Well, but I thought it was so important when you talked about anchovies a few seconds ago on the video that Michael made.
On the right.
And then I just wanted to stop it and talk about the anchovies for a minute because That's what we're going to have for bait for the next couple of months. So you best better get used to it and quit crying about it. Be happy you have bait.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Bait's really tough right now. And, if you look at El Nino, straight anchovies in 1980, El Nino 83, straight anchovies. Heck, I didn't even really know we had sardines. I was a kid, it was 1983. I thought all we had here was anchovies because the sardines had cycled out in 1979. In 1983, during the El Nino that we had, we were catching big eye, we were catching yellowfin, skipjack, dorado, half day boats. We were, it was unbelievable fishing. Straight anchovies. We had those big oceanic deep water anchovies, the big bow honks. And then you get a spawn, you get a bunch of pinheads, and you learned how to deal with it. You learned how to go fishing with it. The rod of choice back then was a Speedmaster 2, Triton Speedmaster TSM 2, and a G Loomis 690. That was the rod, man. I could cast an anchovy for a mile.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, 196. That's it. That's what I meant. Yeah, 196. Not a 690. 690J is a jig stick. The 196. Yeah, the
196.
I'm showing my age. I forget my numbers. But yeah, wasn't that the rod, Mike?
196.7. Cut down 6 inches, 3 on the top and 3 on the butt. Best anchovy stick I ever fished.
Absolutely, with a Triton Triton Speedmaster or a Sea Line 20.
Yep.
So if you were poor like me, you used a Squidder Junior.
Or Jigmaster Junior, yep, or Jigmaster Junior.
All of our rent rods were Surfmasters.
Yep, 501s.
Yep.
Hey, one of the things, guys, that I did when we were anchovies only was I got a clothespin, just a wooden clothespin, and snapped it on into my line, and I practiced in the driveway in my front yard casting that clothespin. Yep. And also, you can stand in the back of the pickup truck, so it gets you up off the water a little bit, basically off the deck, and you can practice that underhand cast with that clothespin too. So practice before you jump on a boat and you're frustrated because you got all the pinheads for bait. But you've been practicing, you can get that stuff out there and score a lot of fish.
Yeah, what's funny, Michael, David, you guys, is if a guy goes and buys a $400 set of golf clubs, he goes and spends hours and hours at the driving range to hit a ball off the side and maybe get it hitting straight. Guy goes spend $1,000 on a rod and reel combo and all sorts of tackle and never goes and practices casting.
Never.
I was just thinking that myself. It's so important to go out and practice your stuff. The last thing you want is to get out on the boat and realize, ooh, I'm not as good at this as I thought I was.
Absolutely. And if you did that, you'd learn how to cast anchovies and light line, light tackle stuff. And I mean, albacore fishing, we grew up albacore fishing, me, Dave, and Michael. And
that was all anchovies.
It was all anchovy. That was the way it was. And we just had exceptional fishing. You really learned bait selection at the tank when you fish with anchovies, because you learned how to select a bait, and you learned how, when that bait hit the water, whether or not it was going to swim and get bit. Because if you hooked it wrong, if you picked the wrong bait, it just swam in a circle on the surface, skipping its head, or it didn't move. But if you picked the right bait, it swam out and down.
Yep. And you can
Todd, I grew up in the, I'm a freshwater guy mostly, and grew up learning bass fishing. And I'm sure you can appreciate this with what you're talking about, that if all you have is anchovies, learn how to use them successfully. When I was learning how to do the bass stuff, I learned how to do a crankbait, and I spent a lot of time figuring out how to do a crankbait. Then you figure out how to do another technique. And if you're forced to just have one type of bait, you can become incredibly proficient with it if you just take the time to learn it.
I thought you were going to talk about night crawlers and bobbers.
Well, what I wanted to talk, why I stopped it, and we're going to watch the rest of this next week, because I had this show on Monday all about anchovies and the bait and how to hook an anchovy. And I thought this was perfect. Stop it. We'll watch the rest of this on next Tuesday. But I think it's super important for everybody out there, because I am reading all over the internet right now how nobody can catch a fish because all they have is anchovies, and I just want Michael and Todd to talk about it because, gang, you have no idea. I would drive 20 miles to go get anchovies for bait when I was running the Wild and Sack because it's that big of a difference. Talk about it, Michael or Todd.
Absolutely.
I love
Yeah,
fishing.
I mean, we used to run all the way up to meet Lebone up off in Newport Beach just to get anchovies up there. If, John was striking out, we had to have it. We wanted it. It made such a huge difference. But a lot of that yellowtail, that yellowtail at the island, it comes to the corner on an anchovy. And you got to remember the sardine attracts sea lions more than the anchovy. The sardines has a lot more fat content. The sea lions freaking want it. They thrive on it. They can smell it in your tank. You start fishing with anchovies and you stop getting picked off at the hook sometimes. I mean, the anchovy, I understand for a lot of people isn't easy to cast. It doesn't swim away from the boat as well, especially now that we're using a lot of braid line. But if you learn how to fish anchovies, you'll be just as successful, and everything eats them.
And it makes perfect sense because you're using anchovies for chum. You're basically matching the hatch for all intent.
Yeah.
Even on the long range trips, when they load up the sardines, I beg those guys to put a half a dozen scoops of anchovies in the forward bait tank. We get down to the long range, everybody's fishing anchovies or they're fishing mackerel and big sardines, and I'm getting just slammed on the anchovies. So I like fishing the anchovies on long range trips when we used to be able to put them on the bow tanks.
Todd, Lewis is asking a good question. Do you believe in barometric pressure?
Oh yes, 100%. I've actually caught fish. I've caught fish on cloud lines where the barometric pressure changes. Barometric pressure has a lot to do with fishing. It has a lot to do with a lot of things. And I truly believe it. If you can learn how to use it to your benefit, you can understand barometric pressure to your benefit. High low is what we typically start seeing in the spring, and then when we get into summer, we start to see more highs. But it definitely makes a difference.
Yep, absolutely.
In that same vein, does the moon cycle affect it?
Absolutely.
What I found, Kevin, is that the moon affects the fish so much that and we used to do this albacore fishing, you remember, Todd, if you didn't get that bite in the morning, if you did not get that bite in the morning, and I didn't care if you're the greatest fisherman in the world, if you did not get bit in the morning, you had to wait till the late afternoon to get that bite on those albies. There was no date, middle of the day.
Yep, you got it, Todd. That's it. My gospel right there.
I live by this right here.
Yep.
And not only does the tide book show the tides, it shows where the moon is and what the moon phase is. So it shows when the moon's on the horizon as well, where it is in the sky, as well as when it's full, when it's half, when it's quarter. This should be your Bible. You should take this and you should write it down every time you catch fish and draw a little line to what time it is, and you'll start to figure out a pattern. I use this religiously. This is in my car so that I can check the tide. And this should be your fishing Bible.
No motion, no bite. And when I say motion, I mean tidal. Motion, no current, no bite.
And Todd, you just had some phenomenal marlin fishing right here in California, right?
We haven't seen a marlin in years. Did I lose you?
No, we heard you.
We heard you. No marlin.
No, I don't even know what a marlin looks like. In California?
Yeah, California.
I haven't seen marlin fishing like this since 2001, 2002. It's really inspiring. It's a lot of fun. Don't go fishing, guys. It's too good. It's unbelievable right now. You guys should be out fishing.
Absolutely. And the marlin thing, that is super, super prevalent on the tide, right?
It can be.
I think so.
Yes, it can be very.
Because when that tide goes slack, when the tide goes slack, the fish like to float because that's when all the bait comes to the surface. Right, Michael?
Yep. There it is.
Bad service. So we don't do any fluke fishing. I don't know, Michael. I don't think Kevin does fluke fishing. We don't have anything for fluke fishing, self-made. This is like mostly fly fishing in the Central California, and then saltwater fishing on the West Coast. That's kind of what we do. But we also bring in guests all the time from anywhere in California, Australia, Mexico. We're always constantly bringing in guests. But today you got Todd Manser, who's been a captain for 45 years, talking about El Nino. He was in the movie that Michael made, the Inside Sport Fishing, El Nino.
In 1 mile, take exit 51 on the right onto Interstate 15 toward Barstow.
Hang on, let me get turned
I don't
off.
want to
Can
go
you
to
guys hear me
Barstow.
now?
I don't want to go to Barstow.
Yeah, we can
Hey,
hear
there's
you.
good ropings in Barstow. Can you hear me now, guys? I'm back in the good zone here. I should have service again. So, right. I don't know if you guys remember this, but in 1999 and 2000, we had some spectacular striped marlin fishing in Southern California, and those fish were on anchovies. They would stay up. We'd get a bird school with feeders, get them in the gyros 4 or 5 miles away from the boat, run 10 minutes, still be up, big ball of anchovies. And that just goes to show you, how cyclically things can change. But right now, we're starting to see some yellowfin tuna already here in Southern California. We've got yellowtail, we got dorado, we've got marlin, we've got bluefin tuna. The calico bass are biting. You've got a ton of bonito. This is it's a great thing. And guess what? We've got the bait receiver. We've got the best bait you can get. Anchovies.
Straight chovies, baby.
Straight chovies.
Grab a clothespin, take your gear outside, stand in the back of your truck, and learn how to cast it.
And look at this picture that Air Pelikia. This is anchovies, guys.
Yep.
In 1,000 feet, take the Interstate
That's all
15 north ramp on the
anchovies.
left toward Ontario, Barstow.
Like I said on the podcast yesterday, I'm tired of hearing everybody complain about anchovies. You guys have no idea. And nowadays you have the most bitchinest reels to cast with. There is no excuse because there's anchovies at the receiver for you not being able to catch fish. And I was just reading the bait report tonight from the Everingham brothers in San Diego. Unlimited anchovies. You can take as much as you want. You can only have 1 scoop of sardines, but you can take as much anchovy as you want. How cool would that be to go to San Diego right now, Todd, and load up on anchovies and take a scoop of that big sardine?
Oh my God, it would be phenomenal. Yep. Except you remember what happened when we had those situations in the past? Everybody wants to start digging in the tank for a sardine. So, fishing on the sport boats, we tell guys, hey, listen, we're not digging. When they come up, we'll put them in the hand well. Just be patient. Be selective. Fish we've got in the hand wells when the sardines come up, but we can't dig for the bait because what happens when you dig in the bait tank?
On the right onto 2nd Street.
Kill all your bait.
Yep.
So
stuff will roll.
I think that video that Frank Lopresti that you did with Frank Lopresti, that old video, really kind of explained how to choose a bait. And that's a great reel that you posted the other day. A great video of Frank that you did back in the good old days there, Mike.
Frank and Randy were great talking about that stuff. We never left the bait receiver. Really informative stuff. They know their stuff. There's no question. Just like you and Dave. Kevin, we're getting to touch with the best in the business.
what's really cool, Michael, is to see those videos you made 25, 30 years ago. And then I have the same videos that I made on my website,
Now take
and I
exit
made
98
them
on the right.
8, 9 years ago. So, I mean, it's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's
In 1,000
exactly,
feet, turn right onto
and
2nd
people go,
Street.
and Frank's telling you right now, Frank Lepresti, you can't find anybody on the planet that knows more about fishing than Frank. And he's telling you anchovies. I don't know how many of us
Now
have
turn
to
right
tell
onto
you
2nd Street.
anchovies before it sinks in.
Yeah. We all love sardines. Don't get me wrong. I love fishing with sardines just like everybody else. But right now, it's an anchovy cycle, and anchovies fish just fine. So learn to adapt. Don't complain because the bait guys are doing what they can. The guys at the receiver are trying to do the best they can. And if you just put a little effort into, you'll figure out that anchovies fish really well.
And that's what the fish are feeding on too. So you're basically fishing what they're eating. So rather than complain about it, adjust to it, and you're going to be able to score unlimited amounts of fish. Especially if you're like one of the only guys on the boat that can get the bait away from the corner. You know.
Yeah, the bait guys are going to be bringing in what's available to the fish. So whatever the bait guys have, that's what the buffet of the day is for the fish you're going after. You know, to your point exactly. I was just thinking the same thing.
Match the hatch, Kevin. You know more about that than us.
You took it right out of
I love me a little match in the hatch.
So nowadays, with all the technology and all these beautiful spinning rods and reels that Okuma makes, there's no reason for you to sit here and say, I can't cast an anchovy.
I think also, Dave, it's really important that you match the rod and reel to your line size. If you're dropping down to an anchovy as opposed to a sardine, you need a much softer tip. So, don't beat yourself up by trying to force an anchovy onto a sardine outfit. You got a 20-pound outfit that you fish sardines with for the last 10 years and you love it, but you may need to drop that tip down to a lighter tip so you get a little bit more action on the tip, because it's all about the inertia on the reel when you're trying to pitch that really ultra light live bait.
Absolutely, buddy. I know exactly what you mean. Hey, guys, I can't do this without the great sponsors we have. And for one thing, Promar Ahi, they make some of the greatest products. We're all using their stuff on our boats every single day. And something that you guys going to have coming into this season, you're going to have a good piece of fluorocarbon between your hook and your braid. And I'll tell you what, check this video out and I'll get right back to the show. And we're getting ready to go do a little lingcod fishing today. So I'm going to use some of this 60-pound fluorocarbon, the GT4. Super abrasion resistant. It's going to handle those big teeth on those lingcod. We're going to drop down some live deception jigs, see if we can't get a couple of nibbles. We will let you know later. But gang, you must have some of this GT4 fluorocarbon connected between your braided line and your lure. Somewhere between your braided line and your lure, you're going to want to have some fluorocarbon. Super important. So check it out. GT4 fluorocarbon. Go to Promar Ahi USA. When you're over there, put in the code YSWG and the number 20, and that'll save you 10% on your next order of GT4 fluorocarbon. All right, thanks, gang. And they just kicked the code up to 15% to anybody that uses it. So get in there and get some of that fluorocarbon, gang. It's time. And like Todd said, we kind of lost him, but he's back and forth. He's driving his car. He's got to take a big poop, Mike. That's why he hasn't stopped.
That's like a sortie coming up to sun in the morning. They come up so they can just drop a load and go back down to the depths.
Yeah, he's got to take a big poop. He's got to get it home. He can't stop on the side of the road with good service or he'll poop his pants.
God, that's funny.
Oh, my God. He's been working his ass off all day, but he did take a little bit of time for us tonight. So that was cool.
Yep.
Kevin, as always, thank you very much for being with us tonight. I know we're talking about a lot of stuff that's kind of foreign to you, but you're learning and you're you couldn't be with anybody better than Todd Manser and Michael Folks. It's pretty cool when the two of those guys are together telling stories. And
well, and the cool thing for me is it's like, to your point, some of this stuff is foreign, but there's so much concept wise that goes freshwater, saltwater. Yep. What they're conceptually, like we were talking about, if all you have is anchovies, learn how to use anchovies. If I only have in my fly fishing world, if I don't have the right fly for the day, I got to learn how to use what I got, and it just makes you a better angler overall. And, one comment I wanted to make about tonight's episode is, with getting into the world of guiding and all that myself, I thought it was so impressive. The one clip that, your deckhands, your charter captains, listen to the guidance that they give you. The scene that and I can't remember his name. You guys said his name yesterday or last week, but was coaching the guy on how to properly reel.
Chris.
Listen to these guys and they will help you be successful.
Yep.
Yeah, I was.
And what's important is how do you free spool? What are you doing on a once you pitch that bait out there? What are you doing? How are you manipulating that bait to keep it moving? What are you doing with your forefinger? What are you doing with your offhand? All those little teeny subtle things are what the guys are trying to teach you. If you could just learn to listen and watch and let them show you what they're doing, you're going to catch fish.
And, a great resource for that is Your Saltwater Guide. He's got this website that has all these videos and tutorials, and you're able to learn a thing or two. It's pretty impressive.
How to fillet a marlin.
As long as you have a sharp knife. You got to have a sharp knife, though.
Yeah, you got to have a sharp knife.
And you know what's funny, Michael? Somebody yesterday canceled their subscription, and the reason why is because they said it's too expensive.
What?
It's $9.99 a month.
Oh, my God.
Now, I don't know what you're planning on getting for $9.99, but it's kind of comical. I laughed. I don't want to call I don't give. If $9 is too much for you to know where the fish are biting at and how to catch them, I really don't care.
Well, and
I don't want to know you.
That's the other thing about your site is, okay, for $9 a month, you can, if you miss something in a video, you can go back and replay it as many times as you want. Okay, compare that to, saving up for however much it costs to go out and do a charter, and you've got 4 to 8 hours with that guy, and then a week later you're thinking, oh, what did he say? I really wish I could remember what tip it was.
Are you in your
can
bathroom
do that with
outside?
your site.
Yeah, Kevin, I understand it. It doesn't. I can't even comprehend how no one would understand that. You're taking 55 years of fishing for a living, and then you're sharing that. Plus, you're helping people to be where the fish are. And who do I have making the reports that I know? I got Todd Manser. I got Kevin. I got Michael Folks. I got Al Clowers. I got Justin Botrell. I got Sonny Hageson. I got David Bacon. I got the biggest names in the industry sharing what's going on the water. That's crazy that you think $9 isn't worth it.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah. I got to pass on a little bit of fish dope. So can you guys hear me now? And I'm so sorry, guys. I've been on like, I don't know, 5 or 6 boats today. I started in Dana Point. Yeah, I was in went to Newport, and then I was in Long Beach. And then I got the ride home. But I've been fishing a lot too. I fished 4 days last week. Thursday was kind of funny. We had all you wanted on the bonita. I was just absolutely phenomenal bonita fishing. And my guys, they wanted to go offshore. They lasted about an hour.
Offshore?
And looking for kelps. And then they came and they said, is there anywhere we could go to just go catch some more? Because the bonita were biting wide open at the point. So I end up at Catalina Island. We get limits of calico bass, just unbelievable fishing. But on the way there, coming in, there was some water that I really liked. So we left and started heading back home. Told them we should put out the lures. We went 1 for 3 on the stripers. These guys, they had no idea what they were in for the day. But right now, there's a lot of diversity in our fisheries. You guys can go take your grandkids fishing and catch a bunch of bonito and bass, and that's what you should do with your kids. You should take the younger kids and just go catch them fish. Let them catch calico bass. Let them love fishing.
Bonito. Yeah, bonito.
Let them catch bonito. And if you guys think bonito aren't good fish, good to eat, come over to my house, and I'll show you what bonito tastes like. I used to cook bonito when I worked on the Cypolaris with Mike Bursk, and even before that with Oscar Simon. We kept a roll of aluminum foil in the downstairs of the Cypolaris. We had no galley, no generator. We had no stove, no grill, no microwave. I never packed a lunch because I was young and stupid, and I just end up robbing everybody's picnic basket, digging in their coolers. But we had a roll of aluminum foil. The first thing we did in the morning back in the late 70s and early 80s was put out bonito feathers. We'd go out and find we'd leave, we'd go out in the canyon, we'd work up towards Treasure Island off of Laguna Beach when we fished out of Dana Point Harbor, out of Dana Wharf. We'd load up on the bonita. As soon as we started catching them, I'd fillet one, take the bloodline out, wrap it in aluminum foil, and I'd put on the engine manifold, because that was the only way I could cook anything. And by around 11:30 or noon, that would be so steamed and perfect. And then I'd pull out a couple tortillas, and we didn't have all that fancy stuff we got now. You got a can opener and a can of Herdez salsa. I'd put Herdez salsa on it, and that's what I ate for lunch a lot of the time. I love bonito. If it's taken care of properly, you take a bonito, fillet it, take the bloodline out, take the skin off after you've iced it and done a really nice job with it. Steam it for 8 minutes in a steamer, and then take it, refrigerate it, mix it with mayonnaise, a little bit of pepperoni, maybe some pickle relish, some salt, pepper. Throw it on a croissant roll. It's the bomb.
Yeah. Now, when you're catching these bonito, Todd, are you gilling them at all? Are you cutting their gills and putting them in the tank and letting them bleed, or how are you handling?
Every time I treat them like I was catching a 200-pound bluefin tuna.
Okay, same deal.
Because you do the same thing for a bluefin. Why wouldn't you do it for a bonito?
Exactly. Get all that bloodline out of there, and it's pure white meat. I mean, it's
absolutely
not reddish meat, but it's good.
Yeah, they taste wonderful. You don't have to take home a dozen of them. Take home a couple and enjoy them. If you like canning, they're really good canned. They are spectacular canned. And there's a mixed grade. I saw bonito off the front of Catalina the other day that were like 8 pounds. They were nice ones.
Those are some big fish.
Yeah, some nice bonito.
That's a big bonito.
But yeah, it's been good fishing, guys. We got a little bit of yellowfin starting to show up, here locally. We've got water temperature today on the beach is 75 degrees.
That's amazing.
I put a new SciTech C-temp gauge on the Tyee this week, and we finally got everything hooked up yesterday, me and Stuart Miller at Performance Marine, and it cycles in, and I go, this thing doesn't work. Gosh darn it. I go, there's no way it's 70. Yesterday it was 69 degrees in the harbor. It's 70. It says 75.4. Heat gun to the water, 75.4. Go over to Gary Floyd's boat, 75.5.
Sweet.
Unbelievable. Yes. I mean, we got a big south swell. The tropical depressions are stacked up like I said they would be. You got one outside of you down there. Well, you're in Ontario right now. I could probably walk over and say hi to you. You're so close to me, Dave.
Right.
When you get back to Cabo, there's one that's getting pretty close to the coast. I don't think it's gonna do anything down there, but they just keep stacking up. They're not big hurricanes; they're tropical depressions. But that's what it takes to push this stuff up here.
Keep that warm water pushing up the hill.
Yep.
Well, it goes back to what you were talking about a little bit ago, Todd. I mean, I can tell in the 2 days that I've known you that you're a weather nerd like I am. And if you understand how these weather fronts, these tropical depressions, if you understand how they function, you can then learn the effect that it has on the fish that you're going after. And it's so important. You can't overstate how important it is to understand what the weather does to fishing.
Absolutely, Kevin. And you're probably like me. All your friends that you know probably ask you what the weather's going to be like. They ask you if is it really going to rain tomorrow? Is it going to be hot? What's the water going to be like? I mean, that's because we pay attention. We're analytical when it comes to conditions, and conditions include weather. So it can include tidal changes. It can include water color. It can include the cloud cover, the weather, the wind. It's all relevant to how we read water.
And then Kevin was asking a question when you were breaking up and had bad service. Michael and I tried to answer it. You kind of answered it back and forth. But now that we got you perfect and I'm going a little bit over, kind of describe, you're going to be telling Kevin, but you're going to be telling all of our listeners, and this is super important. Todd, you are one of the best guys I know. Jimmy King's Mill's the very best, but you're pretty damn good with the gyro stabilizer. What are you looking for?
Well, honestly, I can find this 3 miles from the boat, looking like a fin. So when you start looking through the gyros, the first thing you do to I like to put my horizon in a certain spot of the lens. So you can see how my hand is kind of at about 75% of the image that you can see here. So I like to see as much water as I can and not as much of the sky, but I want to be able to see the horizon. So, and then I start to look, when I'm looking through the gyros, I try to pick an object out as far away as I can, and then I hold my vision there. So let's just say I've got a really calm day, but I've got a little bit of a swell, and I see a bird sitting on the surface, and I can see him for a second, then he disappears for 4 or 5 or 6 seconds. That tells me that we've got a big swell, or maybe he disappears for 10 seconds, and then he comes back up on a swell, and I can see him again. Well, if you're looking through a pair of binoculars and you're doing this all the time, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. So you learn to slow down. You learn to really look and pick something out and look under. I say look under every stone. So I'm waiting for those swells to go by, even if it's just wind chop, so that I can see everything. And depending on what I'm looking for, if I'm looking for kelps, they're really hard to see when it's gray. So when you clouds and everything, the contrast is all the same. You really got to start tuning in and don't try to look too far. Bring it in a little bit. Try to look a little bit closer. You'll be surprised when you're looking through the gyros in gray conditions and people are pointing them out to you. Hey, there's a kelp right there, and you're not seeing them because of the contrast. So look a little bit closer when it's gray for kelps. But if it's gray and you're looking for fins and it's calm, you can start really stretching it out. Just slow it down. So for marlin, sleepers, we're looking for a tail. They just kind of, sometimes they'll lift their dorsal fin up and kind of look like a swordfish and drop their dorsal back down. But they'll just kind of be hanging there, just kind of not really moving. You'll see them pop up. Tailors are really tough. Tailors, we like to look in the trough because it's easier to see them in the trough because they're coming up, they're sinking out, they're coming up, they're sinking out, and you can see them in the trough really well. And you want to get a little lower to the deck if you can, get in the fly bridge and look for those rather than the tower. But those are some hints. Jimmy Kingsmill, hands down, one of the best guys in the glasses I've ever met in my life. Yep. Steve Lasley, pretty damn good. I've had Steve pick swordfish off of my shoulder. I should have seen. I would say that I'm probably one of the best. Sean Burke, another one really good, and Billy Miyagawa. I got to say that we're probably the best in the gyros. Johnny Foster is really, really good. But we've learned techniques. I've learned that when the boat's moving, I don't want to be, looking from 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock because that speeds everything up. I want to look from 12 o'clock from 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock makes it fast. I want to look from 12 to 3 and then come back and look from 12 to 9 and just really slow scans. And then kind of maybe look even over my shoulder a little bit. But you figure out these techniques that work really well for you in the gyros. It takes a while to get good at them, and those little pointers will help you out a lot. Pick out an object as far away as you can see, and then understand how long you have to look at that direction to see everything that might pop up and then move to the next little section. I hope that helps.
Well, and a little thing too from the military world and doing reconnaissance and surveying. One thing that can help when you're just not seeing anything is we are so at least here we are so programmed to see things left to right, top to bottom, and if you reverse that, it makes your brain pick up things that it doesn't normally. So if you're having a real hard time seeing stuff, go from right to left, bottom to top, and that will change the way your brain sees things, and you'll start to see things that you missed before. And that would be a tip that I'd give on that. When I haven't played around with gyros, but just sitting, if you're on a party boat and you're trying to kind of learn what you're doing, use that when you're scanning and moving. That's a way that you can start seeing things that maybe other people that you're on the trip with aren't.
That's a good tip.
Yep. Peripheral vision.
Matthew Martin wants to know, and I did this when I was running sport boats and when I was running yachts. When I would come down Dana Point Harbor, coming into the harbor, I would go up Golden Lantern so that I could come back down Golden Lantern so I could look at the ocean, and that would dictate where I was going. You have to have a plethora. He asked, how do you dictate where you're going to go, up or down the coast in the morning when you're leaving? I would go up, and if I was coming down to Newport, I would see the flag at Hogue. That would tell me which way I want to turn, right or left, when I come out of the harbor to fish the coast. Not talking about offshore, fishing the coast. What I would tell you is and Todd can say more about this, but I just want to say I had a bunch of spots. I didn't just have the spot that I was thinking about. I had a bunch of spots. So if I was driving down the hill and the wind was blowing out of the southeast, I knew where I was going. I was going to go up the coast. I was going to go to Abalone Point, or I was going to go to number 2, or I was going to come
Island.
back down and Treasure Island or something. And then if it was blowing out of the west, I would go down south. And this is just what I would do. But Todd, how do you dictate which way you're going to go in the morning?
So I kind of did the same thing. So when I came down, I didn't always live an hour and a half from the harbor. I was born in Laguna Beach, raised in Dana Point, moved out to where I'm at now because it was getting too expensive to keep all my horses in a stable in San Juan Capistrano, so I ended up out here. And I would come down the hill, and I would look at the flag at the Arco station at Dick's Arco, which it's right there before Carl's Jr. And I'd always look at that flag, and if it was blowing out of the southeast or blowing offshore, I started making my game plan. Offshore's if you're fishing the beach and you've got offshore wind in the morning, it's more challenging than southeast, and it's more challenging than northwest. I mean, it's the most challenging weather condition when you're running a sport boat and you've got 60 people and they're super excited, and you got to figure out how to fish structure in offshore conditions. There's only a few spots that you can fish, so you have to really think about it. And there's not many spots in Laguna Beach that work on an offshore. You can fish the Pipe, back when we could fish the Pipe, the Rose Bowl, and places like that. But even Salt Creek was tough, so you had to go down barge. If you could get the barge, that was a good one. Henry's was a good one. There was a couple. The Runway was a good one. So you had to make a game plan of where you're gonna fish. Current made a big difference.
But you didn't know what the current was.
Yeah, you didn't know what the current was. So, I mean, imagine you had southeast wind and downhill current. And now, a lot of guys, don't understand that when they're getting into boating, that just because the wind's blowing one direction doesn't mean the current is as well. And you learn how the boat's going to lay. So running sport boats really taught us a lot. I mean, especially running a half-day boat, when you've got 120 eyeballs burning the back of your head and you've got 5 hours to make the best day of their life, you learn how to produce pretty quick. Whether it's bass fishing, like in this video, we're half-day fishing, catching yellowfin tuna, yellowtail. I mean, it was phenomenal. I took this is a long time ago. 1990. It was nice. It was 1992 or 1993. I took Fred Hall out on an afternoon half day, and we had like 60 yellowfin tuna, and we ended up at the Red Buoy at the Dana Point Pipe is where we ended up. Oh, hang on, let me find you back there. It was phenomenal. And we might see something like that this year. When do those fish start usually biting, Dave? When do we start seeing that offshore that yellowfin show up here on the beach really good?
End of July.
Yeah.
And another thing, and Todd, because I talk about it all the time, I'm sorry, we're running way over. And if Michael, you got to go or something, anybody, Kevin, you got to go. But you guys, I can't emphasize this enough. You can't make a decision on the current because, just for example, we have a spot right outside the harbor called Middle Kelp Reef. You can go to Middle Kelp Reef and the current can be screaming downhill. You can go a mile below Middle Kelp to Christmas Tree and there'll be no current at all. Then you can go another mile to San Mateo Point and the current can be going straight uphill. It makes no sense. So, but the only way you can tell if there's current, you got to drop the anchor. Or you read water and you can see kelp stringers, then you can tell. But 99.9% of the time, we had to throw the anchor over. And when you got 5 hours to make a day and you make an anchor drop and it doesn't work, now you got 4 hours.
Yeah. So I got a good one for everybody. So tides change and currents prevail. And so if you think about it, this is we're fed by water out of British Columbia and the California current, which comes at us, which is feeding us with cold water. But yet water temperature can go right now, it's 75 degrees. How is it that we're fed with water that's in the 50s from British Columbia into Southern California and have water turn 78 degrees? Well, we have counter currents and upwellings that bring current from southern conditions into northern conditions and homogenize with the California current. And that creates eddies that change in microcurrents, these little eddies that are in the Gulf of Catalina between basically the Channel Islands and Baja, where you can have all these different currents. You can even Central Baja, you can be going up the coast and be just pounding into uphill current, with uphill current, just getting your butt kicked, and all of a sudden it gets calm again. That's because the current's going downhill. But is it a current or is it an eddy? So it's confusing. We call it current, but it is really like reading a foreign language. It's like reading, ancient Egyptian wall. Yeah, it's really difficult to understand exactly what it's going to do. Typically, you can say that we get eddies and currents that are produced by wind, and so 45 degrees from the wind, you might see different angles of current. But in Southern California, there's so many different eddies that form based on upwelling, countercurrents, and the prevailing current and the way things come through the Channel Islands that you could, like Dave said, you could be fishing the point, it could be smoking downhill, unfishable. Go to Christmas Tree, zero current, nothing. Go to Mateo, and maybe the current might be going uphill. Catalina Island's the trickiest because Catalina Island, you can be on the east end, and at Seal Rocks, the outside can be going towards Long Beach, and then you come around the corner and it's screaming down the island and literally going towards San Clemente Islands. So you just have to read your immediate conditions.
And I'm so glad you said that because so many people listen to me every day and they're like, "You're full of baloney, Dave." And I'm like, "Well, here's Todd Manser. He kind of knows. I might be full of baloney, but Todd's telling you guys the same story I've been telling you for months and years. It is what it is, gang, and you got to go out and you got to go. How do you decide if you don't have a plethora of spots? You've got to build up, Matt. You got to build up a plethora of spots so that you can make these decisions when you're out with your family or out with your friends, and when you're out on your private boat. You got to kind of be on the cuff. You got to run it off your sleeve. It's just kind of, you got to read the conditions that they're coming at you. So there's not really any way. The swell doesn't really, unless you're going to go surfing, the swell doesn't have anything to do with it unless it's just big monster swell like we had last month at the wedge when it was breaking 30 foot at the wedge and the entrance to Newport Harbor was closed off. Then you just have to set up a little farther off the beach. But the swell has really no bearing on what I'm going to do.
Right.
But unless it's gigantic, unless you're going over to Catalina and there's a huge south swell, I'm not going to fish the east end. I'm not going to fish Seal Rocks. I'm going to move up by Ben Weston or something where it could dissipate and the water's going to be clean and everything's going to be bitching. But on the coast, no.
Yeah. Yeah, if we get a big swell, it'll roll water over a little bit, make it a little challenging for a couple of days, or even a day, half a day. This last swell didn't do a lot. Bass fishing, everything stayed good. There's still good, signs of yellowtail along the coast. Not as much on the spots as we were, but I think it's coming. But yeah, you're right, Dave. The swell does have an effect, but it's not a huge effect. And when we get south swells, you have to look at the positive of it. It's moving water.
Right.
Volumes of water.
Well, an aspect too with having a bunch of different spots that you know and you know well. I think a lot of times we focus on knowing why something is working. Well, it's also just as important to know why something isn't working. Yep. And if you can understand why spot A is not working, what those conditions may mean for spot B. And so if spot A isn't working because you've got downhill, well, that tells me spot B is going to have uphill and it's going to have this effect, that kind of thing. And so it's so important to learn both sides of why it's working and why it's not working.
And then what's really cool is there's 3,300 spots on my website, 3,300. And you know what? I don't just give you the spots because you can go buy those down at West Marine or at any of these local tackle shops. They all copied them from me. And back in 1987, I made a series of videos. In 1987, I'm just on VHS tape. If you know what those are, they're look like a brick. And you put them into this machine called a VCR, Cocoon, and then it would play. There's the same spots, but nobody else has ever explained all the spots to you like you can get at your Saltwater Guide and I know it's hard to imagine paying $9.99 a month for something that does all that for you. But yeah, I know it's too expensive for a lot of you.
Well, Dave, I got to jump in for a minute too. It's not only that are you giving the details on the spots, the numbers, but you're also talking about what that spot has, the conditions around that spot in order for those fish to be productive. You can't go to a spot if it's a downhill spot and everything's ripping uphill, they're not going to bite. There's certain aspects of every spot, and you can go into depth on most of those. So not only are you saying, here's where I'm going to go, but when I get here, this is what I'm looking for. If the kelp's laying this way, I'm going to keep right on going past it. If it's laying this way, I'm going to give it a second look. And then I'm looking for this, and I'm looking for that. And so, okay, there's enough here to drop the anchor and test it. And you drop the anchor, and you'll know within 15 minutes if you set up right and it's going to bite. If not, you just pull it and go again. But I think knowing what to look for on those spots is as important, if not more so, than knowing what the numbers are.
Thank you, Michael. You couldn't have said it better. Todd, how many times have you pulled up to the edge of the kelp, San Clemente Island, Catalina, or the coast, and you already know that it's going to be retardedly wide open?
Or it's not.
Yeah,
I can tell by the conditions. And the coast, the coast is a little more forgiving than San Clemente Island and Catalina Island. You get San Clemente Island, Catalina Island, and you have conditions, good conditions. You're going to have success. If you have no conditions, water's crystal clear, nothing's moving, the treadmill's off, and nobody has to eat because they're not burning any energy. There's metabolism shuts down, and everything just kind of goes a little bit lethargic and doesn't need to eat. And then as soon as that condition, as soon as you start getting conditions, so you start getting a little movement in the water, the treadmill's back on, protein is necessary.
Yep. And it's the same for the spotted bay bass inside the harbors.
Yeah.
And also where Kevin fishes, if there's no movement in that river or that stream, the
Forget it.
easiest places to fish are where there's no movement, because you can throw cast over there and it doesn't move. But where the fish are is where all the movement is in a river, right?
Absolutely. The fish are where the food is coming. And if there's no current, there's no food moving through there.
Exactly.
All right, I gotta go. Gotta go pick up Grandma.
All right, you guys.
See you guys.
Todd, great seeing you again, Kevin.
Love you, Todd. Love
Hey.
you, Michael. Bye, Kevin.
Thanks for having
good to be
me.
here, guys.
Hey, guys.
Keep
Bye.
good to see you, boys. Like.
Bye.